Hi everyone. So I know this is a bit different. I should probably get rid of these. So I know this is a bit of a different stream today, but I figured a few people have asked me how I've been finding descript. So I figured I'd just give a little introduction into like how I edit things in here at the moment. Oh no. Da, 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 da. So So basically, you add whatever files you want in here, and then you move them over here, and you can see here that it does a transcription of it, which is really useful for me because then I can cut things out based on the transcription. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. The majority of the time that I spend doing this uh, is editing this transcription. So you can, at the bottom here, you've got like this timeline here. So what I'm gonna do is, because I have like this split here, I'm just gonna split it like this.
Thank you for watching.
Then I'll split it there as well.
It started.
Split it there as well. So now I've got like this split into two. What I can then do is when I bring in my next thing, which is this. So this is gonna do a transcription again, and yeah. Hello Jade, how are you? I'm good, thank you. How are you? How are you doing? So yeah, the transcriptions take a couple of minutes to do, but they're really good actually. Like there's only been a few words that it hasn't actually managed to get. So so for some reason it thinks I say, well, I say it for some reason. It thinks I say keyboard instead of keyboard. But like I think that's um not that big of a deal. And then yeah, there's a few other ones, but this is, how I've done it so far. Hi, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be showing you how you can use Terraform to deploy and show a key vault and how you can do it using RBAC. Let's get started. Cool. So I usually have a little bit of a gap between this.
Let's get started. Let's get started.
I'm not sure if that gap's big enough, so let me see if it looks a bit thingy. So all I'm doing here is I'm just pressing S to cut it.
Let's get started. Our back. Let's get started. Thank
It's really funny as well because like it doesn't detect when I say like a lot, but then it detects it when I say like at the end, which is really funny. Um, so what you can do is you can split this here into two different scenes. And then you can move this to the end here. And then you can move, I'm going to move this to the end as well because this is my like outro. There you go. So I'm just using descript at the moment. It's pretty cool. I really like it. It's been really helpful so far. But yeah, it's been good. So it's just descript. I've put the link in the description if you want to check it out. So it has got like a free version if you want to check it out yourself and you want to use it. The free version allows you to do an hour of transcription, and then but like if you tried to export the video, then it would watermark it, and the watermark's pretty big. Let me see if I can show you.
Hi, welcome back.
No, it doesn't get download it. But yeah, if you don't pay for it, then the watermark's pretty big. Okay, the audio level is a little bit low. I don't really want to increase it any higher, just because it ends up with a really massive gain. Hello, is that better? I don't know. So I'll show you what it does. I'll show you my OBS, which is gonna be a bit like jarring. But you can see here that when I'm speaking, the audio level is looking in the right range, and then it never gets to this range here, which is apparently the bad range. So if I increase it anymore, it's going to go into the bad range. So I don't know what to do really. Yeah, so if you want to use it, the description is in the link. It's in the description. The link's in the description. Try it out if you like it. See if you like it. But yeah, I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, and it's not perfect. Like I'm sure, like if someone was a seasoned editor, they would edit this a lot better. But for me, when editing isn't my life and I just want to publish videos, it's saving me a lot of time personally, because I just get rid of the words that I want to get rid of. Tom, you mentioned what's my thoughts on Chinese AI. I have no. I think it's funny that they've basically done what OpenAI did, but OpenAI are mad about it. Like, you know, OpenAI have stolen loads of data, and then DeepSeek have stolen OpenAI's data, which is funny. But I personally won't be using it just because I just like it. Yeah, I just won't be using it. Like for the stuff that I'm working on. But yeah, if people want to use it, feel free. But personally, I just won't be using it. Okay, so I'm gonna start like off. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of this because I don't need all of that, because I've already done an introduction here. And then this is when I'll be going through the various parts. And so one of the things I quite like is you can do correct here, which will correct the naming. But to be fair, it just corrects the actual transcription rather than doing anything interesting. So where we left off last time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think the boot camp that I did could have helped an entry-level data engineer? It's really hard to say because like everyone learns very differently. It helped me a lot. It helped me a lot, like in terms of I learned a lot from it. But I think you need to have a prerequisite of knowledge of SQL, and if you don't, then it's going to be quite hard. You really need to learn and understand what SQL's doing before you learn how to work with things like PySpark and how to learn SQL. So as long as you have that base understanding, I think it would be really, really helpful. How about GitHub Copilot? Do you use it regularly on production code? Do you suggest its pro plan? I personally use it quite a lot, but I get it for free I get the pro plan for free with work on my work machine. So that's really, really useful. And then, so I definitely recommend it. I find it quite useful, but as well, like you have to be careful. Like, so just say you're working with a finance institution, or if you're working with the government, maybe you might have policies in place that mean that you shouldn't be sending any data to like Copilot if you want if that's something that you need to be concerned about with your role. So yeah, I think it's a really case by case basis. Don't put anything that should not be sent to another like company in there. But if you are using production code that isn't like, you know, safety critical or something like that, it can be really, really helpful. How about GitHub Copilot? I've already answered that. What is the last date of assignment submission of Zach's free bootcamp? So the last date of assignment submission is the 7th of February. I'm pretty sure that'll be the like in American time as well, rather than in the UK time. Did I complete all the homework? Yes, I did. Well, actually, that's not quite true. I didn't complete the Tableau homework, but like I don't have Tableau on. You didn't need to submit that to get all of the homeworks completed. I might do that on my own time, but to be honest, like Tableau was really, really slow, and so it was really painful to work with. So I'm not sure I would use it anyway. So, hello. Oh, thank you, Trance. How are you? What I'm gonna do. So I typically work on Windows at the moment, but I predominantly do my dev on WSL. I think I'm debating whether or not to install Linux on my personal machine, just because it's annoying. Like I find working with WSL quite annoying. So I have been debating switching, but it's just finding the time to do it. I hope to get the cert too, but I'm buried under job interviews. How much have you got left of the boot camp? So one thing that I quite like about this is that you can do remove filler words. and so like uh, I say a lot, uh, which I'm trying really really hard to do. But yeah, you've got all of them to do. Yeah, that's gonna be hard in a week. There was actually only 8 that you needed to submit. It was a bit confusing. I know I found that as well, but from what I understand, the LLM can't grade the Tableau homework, so that's why the last one wasn't included in the 8 complete. Like, so if I go to dataexpert.io, you can see that it says I've completed all my assignments, and if I go to my assignments for that, you can see that you don't, there's no like requirement to submit that one, which is weird, but oh well, is what it is. No, there was 8. There was 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there was this. This was the 9th one. So some of these things I'm not too bothered about having double of. Uh it's just the ums and the likes that are really really bad. I say it way too often. It's just so bad. So my kind of strategy is to get rid of all the filler words first and then make it make sense, because some of the times I'll have said filler words, but then I'll also repeated the sentence, and that's another thing that you can cut out as well. No worries, thank you for joining, and it was nice to speak with you. Yeah, to be fair, like some of those assignments did take me a couple of hours as well. It wasn't like the assignments were quick. Some of them were really quick. Like the one that I did yesterday, that took about like 20 minutes, but then there was some of them that took like 3 hours. How much did my work room setup cost, excluding the PC? So the microphone costs 180, I think. The like lighting cost about £50. Uh, I don't know. Do you class the treadmill? Do you class like the desk as part of it? So I've got a sit stand desk, and that was like a couple £100. The tripod was about 30. I would say in total without the PC, I've probably spent about 800 on the the room. But I did buy I have got a DJI camera as well, which was also around 600 quid. So you're probably looking at about 1500 for everything that I've bought so far. Uh, so yeah, that's why it's really funny when people think, oh, you're just being a content creator to make money, because I haven't made money. I've lost money. I've lost money. So yeah. Uh, but um, but yeah, I do like my room, and I just keep slowly adding to it. The next thing that I want is I want to try and find something that like blocks the noise of me typing, because that can sometimes come up when like now, for example. Ah. So when I'm typing, you can hear that, like, and I want to find something that filters the noise from here. So I need to do some research on how to do that. If it's just for like development like purposes, to be fair, the majority of stuff that's in here like you won't need. But for me, the treadmill, the sits, the desk, and monitor and stuff was less than a grand. Okay, so we've got a few other questions. Got to go. Hi Jade. Hi Marvelous. Hi Kieran. I keep saying that wrong. I'm sorry. I almost forgot. Good luck for your education, journey, and leadership. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm Marvelous from Nigeria. We love and appreciate all you do, the beautiful content and resources. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's really kind. Um, hi, Grandma. Is that when you say GM? Do you mean like a Grandmaster? Like, I'm thinking in chess terms that a GM is a Grandmaster. What's what's Grossmeister? I don't understand. No worries. Bye. Nice speaking with you, Trent. Thank you. You too. So you can kind of see, like, there's a lot of arms here. I had a really crap day today as well, like really crap. So I was meant to get my hair done today because I usually get it re-dyed, and every single time like I've had it done, they've made it go darker. And so if you look at like pictures of me a few months ago, my hair was quite like light in comparison to what it is now. And I asked them if they could make it lighter because I've told them every single time that this is too dark, and they were like, no, we don't have time in today's session. And so like I had to, they were basically trying to coerce me into like getting my hair done the way I didn't want it. And they said basically that I would have to pay for not getting it done, like half for not getting it done. If I chose to rebook for a different time, that would be that they could do it properly. But in my opinion, like I've told them so many times that they've got it wrong. Just because I've been nice about it doesn't mean that they've got it right. And yeah, I ended up having to just like leave, and now I need to find a new hairdressers because they just messed my hair up and they won't fix it. But now I've got like roots here that I need to get done, which is just annoying. This is a bit tedious, this bit. Like, remove, remove, remove. Hi, how are you? So, I'm not really entirely sure like where the layoffs at Microsoft happened. I think there wasn't anyone who was impacted in my department. I think it's unfortunate. Obviously, it's not nice when anyone gets laid off, and it really sucks, to be fair. But like, you, it Microsoft is so big that my department is completely different to another department. I'm pretty sure there was no layoffs in my department, but you can pretty much treat a department as its own company because how different they function. So I can't really say any more because I don't know who got laid off. I don't know anyone who did. But just think of it like that. Like, even though I work at Microsoft and someone else might work at Microsoft, we work in completely different areas. We will never probably ever interact with each other just because of how big it is. It's kind of like working at like someone from the US who works at McDonald's and someone from the UK who works at McDonald's. They would just never like interact with each other. So I'm just gonna go through and remove these. Right. What's this? What am I saying here? Because it keeps thinking I see. Thinks I'm saying a jaw. That's funny. So what's really cool about this actually? What I quite like about this though is the I'll show you soon, but you can do a lot of different things about it. Uh, I'm not sure to be fair. Uh, so these are the available transcription languages apparently. I will send that in the link. So Vijay, it's a bit like Inception, this isn't it? I'm doing a stream on doing a editing video on, and then you can see a video in the background. This is like it must be a bit weird, but yeah, I really like it. It's been really nice. Jay, do I work fully remote or hybrid? I am a remote worker. I don't have to go into the office, but if I do, it's oh my god, my bloody headphones. Uh, so I work fully remotely, and I only really go into the office if something's happening. Usually, like it'll only be when I'm with the customer. So I typically don't go in unless I'm with the customer or something's happening. What package are you using? How many general in videos are you able to generate of all the features that you're currently using? So I'm using the middle package. So descript packages. So I'm using the creator at the moment, I'm pretty sure, which is 30 hours per month transcription. The reason why that I wanted to use the creator version was just because I wanted the unlimited use of basic and advanced AI suite stuff, which is why I ended up doing that. And then 2 hours a month. I've not really used either of these yet, so I've not bothered using that. But yeah, this is the main thing. These were the things that I wanted to have in my package, and that's why I used it, just because I wanted the unlimited use. But it really depends on what you're using. So I don't know what like constitute as 20 uses per month. But I guess it's one of those things as well. Like, is you can always try it, and if it's not enough, you can always upgrade. I think it's quite easy to upgrade. Go back. I'm going to delete this. This is not a good thing. So basically, during the video, Azure was taking forever to deploy, and so I was just having a bit of a rant on how long it was taking to deploy, and then I was starting to sing the song "It's Not Fair," and I think you're really mean. I think you're really mean. I think you're really mean. So that's the song that I was singing, but I figured I won't put that in a tutorial because it's not really right to put it in a tutorial. But yeah. It depends. What are you like the hobbyist package enough to be? What are you trying to do with the hobbyist package? Like, are you planning on doing lots of things? You probably won't be able to do as much as I'm doing, but like I said, just try it out. No, I don't do. I don't do music. I used to want to be a singer when I was a kid, but yeah, no, I don't. I don't sing anymore. I said that if I got to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I might create a song, but that was ages ago. So uh, we'll see. The thing that I find hard is like the the singing part is much is different to the actual like producing of music. So to make something sound good, you need a lot of music production as well. And I'm just not good at that. So like I could make a song and I'll sing it in a video and it'll sound terrible because it's got no like backing, it's got no track. Uh so yeah. It's really funny, like in this, I'm just like, has it created yet? Has it created yet? Yes, no, yes. And I'm just complaining about like the how long it takes Terraform to like deploy something to Azure because it just takes forever. Okay, so I think we're pretty much there now from that side. And then what I'm going to do is I've got remove filler words, but then the next thing to do is to remove retakes. I reckon there are some retakes. Let's see. We'll see. No. It says not. I'm just going to have to read through now. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna turn this on, but I'm gonna put it low so you can still hear it. For what you've already deployed. And this is really important when you then do another Terraform apply, like Terraform plan, Terraform apply, because it's only going to try and create the resources that you haven't already created. So as you can see in this state file here, you have this resource group that's already been created. It already knows. So one thing that you always have to check as well with this is that like when you do the cut, that it just sounds that it still sounds okay. Group that's already been created, it already knows that it's been created, and it's kept that in state. If you then did a Terraform destroy, for example, it would then say that's been removed as well. So this is really, really powerful because it allows you to only have to add new resources rather than have to either recreate them each time, destroy things, which you don't always want to do because you might have data in there that you've added like when you've had users using the system. So it's a really, really powerful tool to make sure that you don't just keep destroying the environment each and every time. So now we've had a quick look at the state. One of the other things that you can do with state is you can manage it locally, which is what we're doing right now and is what it does by default, or you can specify a storage account or a storage blob to manage that state as well. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know. I can show you how to do that, but we're not going to be doing that in this lesson. We're just going to be using local state because I'm the only one using it. If someone else was then using it with me, that's when I would move it to a remote state. But because I'm the only one using this, because I'm the only one who needs to do deployment to resources in this tutorial, I'm going to remove that bit. It feels a bit redundant. There's not a lot of questions, to be fair. Have I questioned everyone out? Has anyone else done the boot camp? But because I'm the only one who needs to do deployment to resources in this tutorial, I don't need to worry about that. So the first thing that we're going to do in this thing, so the first thing that we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to... Okay. So I'm just going to remove this bit here as well, because that, again, is a bit redundant. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to have a look at the key vault. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file called keyvault.tf. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to key vault. And I'm going to have a look at the Terraform. One thing I've realised since doing this as well is that you can change in OBS and stuff. You can make multiple outputs rather than having just the one screen of output. So you can have the full screen, and then you can have this part of the video and then this part of the video as separate things. So that'll help, I think, in future videos, so that I can then zoom in different parts of the video rather than having this one screen for people. So this is a really good way to get started because it gives you a lot of information that you can use to get started. So we can take some of this code here and we can change it to match what it is that we want. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this resource here, resource group, because we've already got a resource group that we've already got. So what this is saying is it's just going to create a resource group to deploy that example key vault when it's created. Key vault when it's created. I'm also going to change. You can see that again, it's changed that to key vault instead of key vault. Just so that it what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that there. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this resource here, resource group, because name here to match just so that it matches the example that I'm doing, but you can call this whatever you want really. And then again here, I'm just going to create the name for the key vault, which is going to be CI/CD key vault sample. And it's important to know that this needs to be. So again, I can cut this out here. That needs to be unique. So that this needs to be unique. So if it's not unique, then you're going to have a problem. Like, I'll just go into the other key vault that I created and show you why. So what this does is it gives you a URI, and that it creates that URI, and that needs to be unique. So if it's not unique, then it's going to throw an error and you're going to have a problem there. So make sure that it's unique. Yeah, just make sure it's unique. And then what we need to do is we need to. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that again because it's filler. And then what we need to do is we need to change the location as well. So what we can do is, what this is basically doing is, and I just realized that this is called RG. I'm going to rename that to be key vault rather than RG. And then I'm going to name that as well. And then all you're basically saying is, I want to make sure that I'm using the exact same location as my resource group, and I want to be making sure that I specify my resource group name as well, because this is where I'm going to be deploying my Azure Key Vault to. These are required fields, so you need to specify them. And then you've got things like enable for disk encryption, which is important for when you're using keys, so we're going to keep that in. We've got our tenant ID, which we also need. This is the tenant, like we just previously spoke about. So if we go into a directory, that's the tenant. But I've used this data Azure RM client config. And what this does is it just gets the information about the local user rather than having to search what the tenant ID is. So because I'm logged in as my current user, I've already selected my tenant. That's what this is saying. I've got that information there. So I don't need to worry about trying to find that information because I can just use this here. And then I have the soft deletion retention here. I've disabled purge protection and I've made that false for now. And I'm going to keep that as it is. And instead, I'm just going to get rid of this by because it doesn't make sense. Protection, and I've made that false for now. And I'm going to keep that as it is. And instead of this access policy, which I'm going to remove now, what I'm going to do is there's a little flag in here which talks about RBAC, and you can enable RBAC. So it's descript basically. What's Gling? Yeah, I'm using descript to be fair. Authorization. So that's what I'm going to say that we're going to be using, because that's what we're going to be using today, and we're going to be making sure that it. Has anyone got anything nice planned for the weekend? I'm going out tonight, which will be nice. Hello? Hi, who is this, please? Okay. Spam. One of my fiance's friends and her husband are coming over for dinner. Yeah, definitely give it a shot. It's really cool. I've linked my link for it in the description. I didn't pay. I didn't like. I haven't been paid to do this, like to advertise this, but I've been using it. I paid for it, and then I saw that they had a affiliate program, so I joined it. But it's been really good. I really like it so far. And no, this stream is nothing to do with data engineering. I don't think I've put anything about data engineering. Let me just check. I'm just making sure because uh, I've definitely not put. I'm not doing anything on regards to data engineering in this stream. Uh, are they? What are you, Anthony? What are you planning to make for dinner? So once we've done that, then what we can do is again we want to at least protect it to our IP address. So I'm gonna basically say I'm gonna give it a network. Specifies which. Jade, where in the UK do you reside? I reside in East Yorkshire. I'm actually making some marry me chicken. Do not know if you have heard of it. Essentially breaded chicken cooked in chicken stock, garlic, sun-dried tomatoes with cream, and a lot of cheese. Ooh, that sounds lovely actually. I've not heard of that, no, but it does sound lovely. I think I've heard of it, but I've never made it. I think I've seen like a short on it, if that makes sense. Like someone making it as a short. But yeah, that sounds really good actually. I think anything with that's breaded with cheese and cream is going to be good though. It specifies which traffic can bypass the network rules. So what you want to say is specifies which traffic can bypass the network rules. I guess that's fine. Rules, and then I'm going to give myself the IP address what I had earlier. So let me just get that up again. So this is my Do you have courses in Udemy? I do not at the moment. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I need to. For me, the thing that I like about YouTube is that it's non-committal. So I can put out content in there. I can do loads of like helpful content that, well, what I feel is helpful, and I don't have to commit to like replying to people, and I don't have to commit to like doing specific things to help people, which that doesn't mean that I don't want to speak to people, but it's more of like an overwhelming thing of like when I commit myself to doing something, I get quite overwhelmed. So I quite like that part about YouTube of I can put stuff out there, I can make it useful, and I don't have that obligation to respond to people. Whereas when you do a course, it's slightly different because then you're like actually people are paying you to do that. So so that's my kind of off put about doing courses. I guess if you did a free course, it wouldn't matter, but at the moment, I haven't done a course so far, and I'm not sure like what I would do a course on. I feel like maybe I could do it on CI/CD and Terraform, or maybe I could do it on unit testing. I'm still trying to figure out if I did do a course, what to do it on. I like this this tool more compared to Gling. Gling, I might have to give it a shot. Thanks for displaying it. I hope you find it fun. I really like it. It's been really useful for me. Like I said, I hate editing, and before this, I was just uploading it, and I was like, it'll be what it'll be. Whereas at least I get to remove some of the annoying stuff here. And again, we've got our SKU name here, which is the standard. Hi, Namisha. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And congrats yourself. I'm pretty sure you finished it as well, right? Is that correct? So it can be the premium or standard, but we're just going to go for standard because we don't need any of the premium features for this. So this pretty much is the exact same configuration as what we enabled in the front end here for this key vault here. The only difference really being is that the only difference really being is that we have a different name, and that is it. But everything else is the same. So that's all we need to have, and I think the policy is 90 days rather than 7 days. So we could change up to 90 days as well to make it the exact same if we wanted to. But other than that, everything's the same, and the only other thing you can do is you can do this like merging thing to kind of make it regenerate the sound. But I've tried that a few times and it's been a bit hit and miss. Sometimes it's worked quite well, and sometimes it's not worked very well at all. I have thesis submission 2 days. I have still 3 more assignments left. Need to do them next week. To be fair though, the last couple of assignments are so much easier than the first like few. So don't worry too much because like the 2 writing ones didn't take long at all. So you've got this. But other than that, everything's the same. And the only other thing that we need to do is we need to create our key. So we've got our key here. So what we can do is we can do our initial access control. So what I need to do is I need to provide myself with the same role assignment as my user, which is a key vault administrator. So what I need to do is I need to go into role assignments here and search for role assignments. And what we can do here is we can just say resource Azure RM. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this, instead of contributor, I'm going to give it Azure Key Vault Administrator. And that should be all I need to be able to create the key that is there. No worries. Thanks for hopping on, and see you maybe next time. And hopefully you enjoy the tool, because it is pretty good. Create the key that is there. We actually don't need the Azure at the front. I find it really confusing with Azure sometimes, because some things need Azure at the beginning and then some things don't. It's what needs Azure at the beginning. Really, it shouldn't need any Azures, but sometimes some things do. So Jade, what was your story like on your tech journey? Are industry recognised certifications overrated, or can they help us get interviews for desired roles? Because I read where you said you did some certs too. So I did do I've done a couple of certs. So I did the Azure Solutions Architect Expert certification before I got hired in Microsoft. And I think that helped a little bit, because when they were looking for someone, who had some solutions architecture experience rather than just a software engineer. So for me, that was kind of the right place at the right time type course. And so I was quite lucky in that sense. Do I think certs are the be all and end all? I think it really depends on what job that you have. I think for software engineers, not necessarily, but I think they're really useful for people who are technical consultants potentially, because a lot of companies want them. And the reason why they want them is because it helps them with partnerships with like Microsoft, for example. So I know, for example, my friend used to work at a company where they would pay him to do Azure certifications, because you needed so many certifications to be a gold partner with Microsoft or something. And so if they're interviewing candidates and those candidates already have those certifications, that helps their case, because they don't need to then pay them to do it. They don't need to wait for them to do the training, etc. So there are some cases where it can be helpful, but there are also other cases where like it doesn't really make a difference. I don't think from a knowledge perspective it makes massive difference. I say that, but like I say that, but the solutions architecture course really did help, and I didn't realize until like after I joined Microsoft how much it actually helped. So like there was I really studied for that one though. I tried really hard for that exam. So uh yeah, I think it really depends. Like some of my certifications, for example, that I think are absolutely useless. So so I don't mean to offend anyone by this. Like I just think I think the professional Scrum Master one that I did and the professional product owner ones that I did weren't that useful. I think that I understand the theory of Scrum very well, but I just have never seen Scrum applied well in a like context, in a business context. I've seen it applied okay. I've seen it applied instead of doing the right thing, but I've never seen it being applied well. Uh, and I think a lot of the times that it ends up, people end up doing it and they forget what it's really about, which is adding value, which is meant to be what Scrum's all about. So that particular certification, I don't really, I felt was hasn't really helped me very much. I think I understand the meaning behind it, but like, yeah, the certification itself hasn't helped me very much. So first of all, let's just create this and show that this works. We can yeah, that's just me. That should be lowercase. Everything in Terraform for true and false is lowercase, so that's just something to be aware of. So if we have a look here, for example, we can see that so I'm just gonna get rid of this. So if we have a look here, for example, we can see that this is just going to destroy the previous resource group. I have the day booked off today. I was gonna, like, I don't know if you was following earlier, but I had a hair appointment, and then the hair appointment didn't happen, so I've wasted a day off really. But I'm editing my video instead, so at least I'm doing something useful. The only reason that's going to do that is because we've changed the name of the resource in Terraform to be CI/CD Keyvol instead of CI/CD Keyvol RG. So that's just a key thing to note, is this name here is very different to this name here. And so because I've changed the name here in Terraform, it is going to try and is going to destroy it. So that's fine. We haven't created any other resources in Azure, but don't like in Azure, but don't like just go ahead and start changing this. Okay, you've got this, Kieran. You can do it. All I would say is the first 4 weeks are the most important, I think. Like if you can get through the first 4 weeks, you've done good. Like in from a like technical standpoint, I think the last few weeks were more like I'm more like focused on the business aspect. So I guess it depends on what you're interested in, but I found the most value in the first 4 weeks. I think that's just because I've done a lot of product ownership before though, so I already understand the communicating with stakeholders, the understanding of business impact and stuff like that. So the first few weeks really helped. And then you can see we've got our key vault here as well, which is two. And then you can see we've got our key vault here. So I'm going to be a bit lost. I don't know what to stream next. Like, I don't know, like, should I just, I don't know what to stream anymore. Here as well, which is going to be created, and then also our role assignment here. So let's apply it. So let's apply it. So let's apply it. So let's apply it. So as you can see, this is really, really useful information. Okay, so I know what's happened here. So because we've created the the resource, so because we've created the resource group here and they have the same name, it's tried to do the creation of the resource group before it's managed to completely destroy the previous one. So now that's been destroyed, it should in theory be absolutely fine. And so if I do another apply, it should work okay. I'm going to try again, and in theory this should work now, but because I renamed it and it's tried to create it at the same time as deleting it, it's run into that issue. So this is really useful information. So it'll give you information about creating. So you can see here that the resource group creation has been completed. The only thing I really don't like, and I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but like when I'm editing stuff, the thing that I find really, really difficult is I really like listening to music while I'm doing stuff. And while I'm editing, I don't get to listen to music while I'm doing stuff. And so I don't get that dopamine that I want because I have to edit. And so if I do another apply, it should work okay. I'm going to try again. And in theory, this should work now. But because I renamed it and it's tried to create it at the same time as deleting it, it's run into that issue. So this is really useful information. So it'll give you information about creating. So you can see here that the resource group creation has been completed, and then it moves on to creating the key vault. And it gives you that information on here. It took 2 minutes to deploy that. 2 bloody minutes. Here. And this is the worst thing about Azure because it takes so long to deploy stuff. It really does. This is not a good thing. So whilst that's working there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my resource groups again, and I'm going to go open up that resource group, and then we're going to have a look. So it is creating the CI/CD key vault sample that we created here. It's just taking a long time to do it. So if I go in here, for example, you can see that if we go into our stuff to delete that's enabled, it's set that retention policy to 90 days, which is what we did here. If we go into our networking, you can see that it's configured my IP address. So my IP address has access to the key vault. And then I don't know what else it's doing. Usually there's a few things that happen on in the background that it creates. It just takes a while for it to finish everything. But then once that's created, I can't even show you the access yet. So it has created now. We've got the creation completed, and now it's creating the role assignment too. So once the role assignment has been created, I should be able to go into the access control here. So as you can see here, like if I go into that now and I look at the role assignments, my role won't be there. Oh, it has been there, but that's just because it's been created already. So it's quite quick to do those changes within the portal. It's just, for some reason, there's a delay between Terraform and getting the response back. As you can see, my current user has been given the Key Vault Administrator role, which now means that my current user has been given the Key Vault Administrator role, which now means that we can then create the key, which is what I'm going to be doing in the next lesson. So tune in to see that.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you next time.
So one thing that I really need to do is I need to create like a theme tune, but I'm not very artistic, like I've already said this. So that's really hard for me. Like that's the hardest part for me, like just doing stuff like that, because like I said, I'm not an artistic person, and so I find that so hard. Right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to sort out the audio just to make sure that so I'm just going to set these two, because so basically what that does is it tries to minimize like the amount of like clicking and stuff in the background that you can hear, because it gets rid of background noise basically. And then ducking will, from what I understand, like because I've got different clips here, like of different sound levels, it will normalize them so that they're the same. I think that's what happens. That's what I researched, but yeah. Okay, how is the studio? Okay, let me just. So typically I just need to edit this to be 80% rather than. Yeah. Everything. Yeah, cool. And see, my current user has been given the Key Vault Administrator role, which now means that we can then create the key, which is what I'm going to be doing in the next lesson. So tune in to see. So I'm just going to go see that. Just going to cut this out actually. Okay. That.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you next time.
Okay. So I'm just going to go back. important when you then do another Terraform apply, like Terraform plan, Terraform apply, because it's only going to try and create the resources that you haven't already created. So as you can see, how did I decide on my branding, colors, thumbnail style, intro, etc.? It was a bit of a continuous process. So I think for me, what really cemented the green colors was, what really cemented the green colors was the fact that I dyed my hair like ginger, and so green complements ginger really, really nicely. And so that for me was the kind of blue green colors was like, okay, it's a nice contrast to my hair color. And then the reason I decided to dye my hair ginger was because I felt like I've always loved like having red hair, but red for me is a bit too it the 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 color of red that I used to have is just way too like bright to what would generally like be acceptable for a 30-year-old woman. And I know that's like, if people want to dye their hair red, that's absolutely fine. But like for me, like it was a bit too much. And so I went ginger because I love the color ginger as well. And so I went ginger, and then I was like, okay, well, I need to have contrasting colors. And so I had a few different color ideas. It was either like uh, blue or purple or green. And at the time, I was like following people like Milan Jovanic, and he had purple and blue. And so for me, I was like, oh, I don't want to do blue, I don't want to do purple because like that's already done to death. And so I decided on like a bluey green color. Like I really liked the bluey green contrast. And then I worked with a brand marketing person who really helped me with my vision for what it is that I wanted to do. And then we came up with this color scheme here. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story about this. Is like this little logo is basically I need to I'm still waiting for some stuff from him. I want him to send me the animations, like I'm still waiting on that to be sent to me. But like these are meant to be like bouncing balls, like where like this is like steps, and like the balls like are going up, because the idea is I want my channel to be about making incremental changes, and so it's about just climbing those steps rather than doing everything all at once. So that's where the inspiration for the logo came from. And then the thumbnails is just sort of been from looking at what other people's thumbnails are. So just trying to see like what color schemes they use, and a lot of the time people use black, like a bit of a darker background, and then the color schemes of what they're using for their colors. And so but I definitely need to, thumbnails is the next thing really for me to try and get better at, because I'm struggling to find thumbnails that I actually like the look of. So yeah, that's a challenge. I feel like the challenge that I have is that I feel like the thumbnails that I like is different to what people like, and so I need to probably like change my approach to how I do thumbnails, because I like really minimalistic thumbnails without a lot on there. But then if I look at things like Zach's thumbnails, they're quite busy, but they also get a lot of views. So I think I'm doing something wrong basically with the thumbnails. I'm just going to check this. I don't know what else it's doing. Usually there's a few things that happen on in the background that it creates. It just takes a while for it to finish everything. But then once that's created, I can't even show you the access yet. So it has created now. We've got the creation completed, and now it's creating the role assignment too. So once, just gonna get rid of this. usually there's a few things that happen on in the background that it creates. It just takes a while for it to finish everything. So it has created now. We've got the creation completed, and now it's creating the role assignment too. So once the role assignment has been created, I should be able to go into the access control here. So as you can see here, like if I go into that now and I look at the role assignments, my role won't be there. Oh, it has been there, but that's just because it's been created already. So it's quite quick to do those changes within the portal. It's just for some reason there's a delay between Terraform and getting the response back. Okay, so that's the majority of things that I do here. And then one thing that's pretty cool is if I go into Underlord and then I ask it to draft a YouTube description. Like what I'll do is I've basically given it an example of a previous one, and then I'll just submit that to basically see what it gives me. Oh, yeah. And you can see here that like it gives you like a description of what your YouTube video should be. And then it also gives you like library, like the chapters that you could use. So introduction to Terraform and Azure Key Vault, understanding Terraform state, managing Terraform state locally, creating the Key Vault configuration, configuring Key Vault settings, setting up role assignments and deploying and verifying resources, and conclusion and next steps. And I think that's really cool because it's basically been able to determine what the next chapter is going to be based on your understanding of it, like based on its understanding of when things end and when things start. And that just is, for me, like I don't have to go through and then decide where the chapters are going to be. But I think that's really good. Again, it saves a lot of time. uh, so I'll probably copy that and put that somewhere, and then I'll just do done. And then you can do a draft a blog post as well, but like it's not very good at this. So like it's a good starting point, for example. Like it's definitely a good starting point to like give you something. So one thing that I really struggle with is just having a blank slate. So it's good for that, like having that starting point. But you definitely have to change a lot because you have to add the code examples in there. And it doesn't, some other times it just doesn't make sense to have it the way that it is. And often it like it and often it like basically talks in the wrong tense that I want it to talk in, so I don't like that either. So I definitely have to change a lot of things, but it's definitely a good starting point. I think Zach already has a following. Yes, I know he already has a following, but like but there's having a following and there's getting like viral views on some videos, which is what he's definitely being able to do. So yeah, that's and you can see like the difference between how many views he gets with his new thumbnails versus how many thumbnails he gets with his previous thumbnails. So there's definitely like some indicator there that I'm just doing thumbnails wrong. But yeah. So this is pretty much all I end up doing for the descript. Like it's yeah, it's quite nice. Like it's easy, and because of the types of videos that I do, it doesn't take too long. Like you've seen, it's taken a couple of hours, and all I've done like really is remove things, cut things out, like normalize the audio, try to remove background sounds. So I really like that about it. I feel like I've got deja vu at the moment. I feel like, yeah, this feels like it feels like deja vu that I've gone through this. Maybe I had a dream that I did this. Um, but yeah, there are a few other like a bit more advanced things that you can do. You can remove short and wide gaps and remove things like that. But I'm not going to do that because I've already added like chapters using the YouTube like descriptions, so I don't need to worry about that too much. And then yeah, this is pretty much everything. I don't know why it's renamed itself as well. I called it something different, but oh well. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've done. I'm gonna like stop everything else on this side. But does anyone have any more questions? If not, then I'll just let everyone go. Hey Jade, I'm in the free data expert bootcamp too. Your live streams have been unbelievably helpful. I'm so glad. I'm really glad that it helped. I'm struggling with some of the homework, so do you have a repository with those that I compare my work to? I don't, unfortunately, just because I I decided not to, just because I didn't want people just to have a look at my repository and then copy everything that I've done. So I haven't actually intentionally published any code there. But if you have any questions or if you want me to look it over, then I'm happy to do so. Not to worry, you'll get there soon, Jada, here because you're amazing. I want to learn from you, so it's all. Oh, thank you. That I really appreciate that. Yeah, I think for me like it's just trying to grow like organically on YouTube. That I'm gonna try and do a bit. I need to try and do better because there's only some like a lot of my audience has kind of come from LinkedIn, which has been great. You know, I've got a great audience on LinkedIn and it's great to chat with them. But like to grow organically, you really need to get no you really need to get the algorithm to push your content out to people. So it's just trying to figure out ways to do that, which is just it's hard. And I try not to obsess over it too much because I think when you obsess about it, you end up doing stuff to please the algorithm rather than stuff you love, which for me, I could definitely do more clickbait stuff like rather than tutorials, but I think that clickbait stuff is not like the direction that I want to take the channel. So yeah. Okie dokie then. Well, if there's no more questions, then I'll end the stream here. And I just want to thank everyone who has come on and talked to me. It's really nice. And it just makes this process of doing stuff so much easier because it can be really, really like hard just to like sit here and edit stuff when I'm on my own and I'm bored. So thank you for watching. And I'll probably do a couple more of these if people like them because it's just nice to sit and chat with everyone. Okay, well, I'll end there then. Bye, everyone.